Okay, this is going to be volume one in a new series I'm starting called Know Who You're Getting Involved With. Of course, they're going to talk about it, and I'm going to give my take on it. All right, let us begin.
Plaintiff Letitia Gray met the defendant online, and 1 month after they started dating, he moved in with her and her son. Letitia claims after she confronted the defendant about being with another woman, he got mad and hit her.
All right, let me say this before they continue. If you heard the announcer say that after she met the defendant online, which is nothing wrong with meeting someone online, but you, like I say, like I always say in other videos, you gotta, vet people and really get to know the person. And obviously, she didn't vet this man, get to know this man. She, I guess, was desperate, lonely, and then after 1 month, you move in. Let me say this for both, not only for the ladies, but for the men too, that after meeting someone and only knowing them for a month, you should never, I mean, never, man or woman, move someone in after a month. Man, you meet a woman and things don't go, and you meet them after only meeting them and dating them a month, you don't move them in with you. A month is not a long enough time to know them. And ladies, especially you ladies, definitely do not move a man in your place with you after a month. Obviously, she moves this guy in maybe because she was lonely, maybe she was having financial struggles because he worked maybe, and maybe she needed help with bills and things like that. And plus, being lonely as well, so that's why she probably moved this guy in. But I don't care under any circumstances. You don't move a person in after a month. All right, let us continue.
So she retaliated. She's suing him for unpaid loans. Defendant Cameron Mitchell says on the night of the incident, Lakeisha instigated the argument by throwing a bottle at the back of his head, and then she would not let him leave the house. Cameron claims he is the one who called the police, and he's countersuing for car damages and the cost of an iPad.
All right, let me say this before they continue, before they get started here, for the judge um, continues with the case here. He said that with the plaintiff, as the court narrator said that when he tried to leave, she threw a bottle at him. Look, ladies, if you're dealing with someone and y'all having an argument or disagreement, he wants to leave, let him leave. Don't be throwing no bottle at him, try to hold him there, keep him there, because all that's going to do is escalate into a situation, circumstance where y'all get to fighting and someone gets hurt. And the same goes for you, fellas. If you did a disagreement, an argument with a lady, which I advise you shouldn't be arguing with a woman, and if she wants to leave or wants to move, then let her go. Don't try to hold her back or try to restrain her or block her from leaving. If she wants to leave, let her go. All right, let us continue.
Okay, Your Honor, I met Cameron in December of 2014 on Facebook. He was continuously messaging me, trying to take me out. I wasn't really interested in him at that time.
Hey, hey, fellas, did you hear that? She said he's messaging her, and she really wasn't feeling it at the time. Look, like I tell you guys before, and I'll say this. I'll say this again. If you meet someone online, you message them once, wait for them to message you back, and then after that, don't message them anymore until they message you back. You send them one message. After you send them that first message, you wait for them to return that message. And then after that, you don't message them anymore until they message you back. And if they don't message you back, then that lets you know, hey, they're obviously really not interested. And obviously, from what she was saying here, that obviously, like she said, she really wasn't interested. Obviously, she must have been talking to other guys and everything and trying to see where things went with them. And then all of a sudden, she decided to fall back on this guy, being that he was showing interest. So just keep that in mind, gentlemen. All right, let's continue.
But one day, finally gave in.
What changed your mind?
He was cute that day.
That day?
Yes.
And let me say this too. Some women are, like I say, like that too. Like I say, most women are very emotional. And a lot of times, if one day, like she said, she really wasn't feeling him, and then another day she look at him and say, he's kind of cute. Then she started feeling him, and that happens a lot of times too. And I'm thinking that's probably part of the reason why she decided to give him a chance. And none of that, she probably was talking to other guys, and the other guys that she really liked it or wanted, they wasn't trying to give her a chance, so they wasn't trying to deal with her. So she fell back on this guy. And sometimes that happens, guys. A woman you meet, get involved with, sometimes, you show interest in her. She's really not interested in you. Maybe she's talking or dealing with someone else. And if things don't work out with that person, then sometimes the woman is likely to, fall back on you. All right, let's continue.
So I saw some pictures and he looked kind of good. So I said, okay, I'll give him a chance.
Okay.
So I gave him a chance. Things moved really fast. We moved in.
How long?
It took like a month after we were together. He moved in with me in February of 2014.
And let me say this too. Even if I don't know how the thing happened with him moving in within a month, maybe I don't know whether he asked her to move in or whether she wanted him to move in. Fellas, that's why I tell you, fellas or gentlemen, don't move in with someone just that fast or whatever. You meet someone, get to know each other. Even if she wanted you to move in, you be like, well, let's get to know each other better. I'll come over and see you, spend time with you, maybe spend a night sometimes. But as far as me moving in, let me let's take our time, get to move with it before I move in with you. And even if he asked her, suggested to move in with her, she should have, said, well, let me get to know you. Let me feel, let's just get to know each other a little better first before you move in. So obviously it sounds like to me, I don't know if they're going to bring it up in this case or not, that she allowed him to move in probably for two reasons. Maybe she was lonely, she didn't have a man, so she decided to let this guy move in, and plus he probably was working, and then him moving in with her, he could help with the bills, help her out financially. All right, let's continue.
A chain with
Do
my
you
son.
have a place?
He lived with his grandmother and his father back and forth. I can't.
All right, let me say this too. She said that he lived with his mother. Lived with his father and his grandmother back and forth. Fellas, like I say, gentlemen, that's why I always say it's very important that you go to date and everything. You need to work on having your own place before you date. Before you start dating and get involved with a woman at first, you need to establish, to have your own place. You need to try to get your own place. Instead of you need to move out of your grandmother's house or your daddy's house, mama's house, whoever you live at. You need to move and get your own place, because there's nothing wrong with having your own place. You should always, be a man to have your own place. And I tell mainly this for all gentlemen, but mainly for the young ones. Get it, get a job, work it, save up money, and get your own place, get your own apartment, or even rent or if you can't get an apartment, maybe if you want. People do have houses, they rent rooms out to people, so maybe get your room, but have something of your own. And then maybe start dating. Don't just, living with your grandmother or living with your father and you try to date someone and then all of a sudden you meet a woman and in 1 month you moving in. So it sounds like to me that he was living with, like you say, between his father and his grandmother, that he got involved with her and wanted to get out of that situation and then move in with her. He should have had his own place. Get your own place, fellas. All right, let's continue.
Can't say that he got really attached to me and my son Jaden. In April of
You
2015.
moved in with your son 1 month after knowing him?
Yes.
You meet him on the internet?
Yes.
Well, let me say this too. And then another thing is too, ladies, why would you even move a guy in after 1 month? You really didn't even know this guy, and you got a child, and you got a son. What if this guy, would have to been a serial killer, or what if this guy was a molester or a rapist or something like that? And you move this guy in, and you got a child. Ladies, you got to think about that. I don't care how cute the guy is, or how much you like him, or how handsome he is and everything. Like I say, you don't move no guy in after a month, especially if you got a child. You don't know this man for Adam, and you bringing this man around your child, and you don't even know him. This man, you don't know what kind of man this kind of person this man could have been. That's why I say, people, ladies and gentlemen, you got to be careful. Who y'all get involved with, and moving someone in, you need to really take your time to get to know them. At least date them or deal with them at least, I say, a minimum of 6 months or so before you decide to allow them to move in. So anyway, let's continue.
Everything looks so good.
Right? I'm hearing the new Google Pixel is really great, and it comes with AT&T's best deals on all of them.
This one looks nice.
That's a house favorite.
In April of 2015, Cameron decided that he wanted to take a break. In Cameron's eyes, that means that he wanted to have side chicks and still have me.
And let me say this too, that she said that he wanted to take a break. Well, if you're in a relationship with someone and someone says they want to take a break, because I know women, she said that he asked about taking a break, and if he wants to take a break, then you say, okay, fine. Just, all right, go on your break and be on your way. And then same thing too, fellas. If you're dealing with a woman and a woman say, hey, I think we should take a break or we should go on break, then you be like, okay, fine, go on break. And usually our times when people say, whether it be man or woman, when they say, hey, let's take a break or go on break, usually that means they're talking to someone else. That means if it's a man and he say, hey, let's take a break or let's go on break, it's usually mean he's talking to another woman or he wants to get involved with another woman or might be already involved with another woman. And the same thing with the woman. When a woman says she wants to take a break, she usually means that, hey, she wants to talk to another man or get involved with another man or might be already involved with another man. So that's what that usually take a break stuff means. So whenever y'all hear that, hey, let's take a break, that means they're talking to someone else or involved or getting involved with someone else. And if that's what they want to do, fine, let them do it. You just move on with your life. You go find someone else. All right, let's continue.
How you know?
Because I know Cameron.
Okay. Where he moved to?
He moved back in with his father. Basically, he was still coming over to my home.
And let me say this too. And then it's how he say he was dealing with her. And then he moved back in with his father. But that's why I say, fellas, you should have your own place. If you stay with her and everything, and then you moved out with her, instead of moving back in with your father, should have moved and got your own place. That's why I always say, keep your own place. And if you live with someone, you should always keep your own place. Either if you go stay with a lady or move in with a lady, always keep your own place on the side. And the same thing I would suggest, ladies do the same thing as well. If you move in with a man and you got your own place, keep your own place as well. So if things don't work out, if things don't go right, then boom, you go back to your own place. And then not only that too, plus it's always good for both people to have their own place, because that way she can come by and visit you at your place. And if she got her own place, you can go by and visit her, at her place. I can go visit each other's place. That's why I always tell people, always have your own place. In this case, she did have her own place, but he should have definitely had his own place as well. All right, let's continue.
We were still being intimate, kept saying, I love you. We were basically together, but we didn't have a title.
Well, let me say this real quick, too. And like I said, y'all living together and he move out, and if you still want to be, if you say that he was, quote-unquote, on break, If you quote unquote break, then why are you still messing around with the guy? And then if he moved out, then obviously, like I said, that's a sign that obviously he wanted to get involved or mess around with someone else or get involved with someone else. So that's why he moved out. All right, let's continue.
Was how to cut a deal.
Yeah. Yeah, I did. I let him get away with a lot of stuff because, I loved him and he
Loved him after 1 month. Go
well,
ahead.
not at the month, but once we were together for a
that's when
year.
you moved him in with your son.
Yeah.
Go ahead, though.
Yeah, we were together for a year or so. In August 31st of 2015, Cameron was going to be babysitting my son for me because I had to go to work. He agreed. Before he came to my home, Cameron went to social media, Snapchat, and posted a video with him and another girl.
All right, let me say this too, and about this social media. That's one thing you should not do or never do. If you're dealing with a woman or whatever, why would you go on social media and post yourself a picture with another woman, especially you still dealing with this woman and you're coming over to her place and you still dealing with her? You only post a picture if you're with a woman unless you're just dealing with that woman that you're in the picture with and you're not involved with another woman. Because obviously when you do stuff like that, that's going to create issues and problems. See, doing that, you asking for trouble. Because like I said, she see that on social media that you posted a picture of another woman and y'all still dealing or messing around with each other. That's going to cause issue and problems. And of course, she's going to get upset. And it's probably not going to end well. All right, let's continue.
They were in his car. She was all up on him. Had slow music. I was jealous. I got mad. He came over. He acted like nothing happened. We were in the bed, and I confronted him about it. He got upset that I brought it to him, and immediately he hit me. In self-defense, it went from the bed.
All right, let me say this too. Fellas, like I always say, keep your hands to yourself. I don't care if you're mad, you're arguing, whatever. You don't put your hands on a woman. And ladies, also as well, you don't put your hands on a man. If you do that, if you do that, he was messing around or whatever, and you saw he was messing around, you should have just let him go. You should have said, look, obviously you're dealing with someone else. You gotta go. Bye. See you. And move on. And that way wouldn't have had this incident escalate. All right, let's continue.
Bedroom to the living room. I had a Hennessy bottle. I threw it. I know Cameron.
And let me say this too. It's the old saying, go hell has no fear like a woman scorned. So a lot of times, this was his sues that, man, you put your hands on a woman, some women are going to retaliate and they will fight back and they will pick up something to throw at you. And like she said, she said it's true that he hit her and then she turned around and threw a bottle at him. But that's what stuff like this happens. That's why I say it's always good, both for men and women. Both keep your hands to yourself. And she, like I said, if she was that mad or upset, she should have just told him, look, I don't appreciate this. I don't appreciate you dealing with someone else on social media or whatever. It's going to be her or me. Or you should have said, look, since you want to deal with someone else, then obviously you go ahead and deal with them. I'm gone. And that should have been the end of it. And he should have been like, okay, fine. And moved on. Instead of this, arguing petty going back and forth, him hitting her and she throwing bottles. All right, let's continue.
When he gets upset, he likes to damage things. So he went outside. My car is outside, right next to his car.
Hey, gentlemen, ladies, especially gentlemen, don't I got a series on here learning how to control yourself? By the time people get mad and upset, instead of breaking and destroying things, just go for a walk. Just be like, look, I'm going, just say, hello, let me go take a walk. Let me go, get my composure or something. Or if you don't want to walk, maybe if you're driving, maybe get in your car, go drive. Go to a park somewhere, sit down, relax. Just chill, try to gather your thoughts, things like that, and just calm yourself down. Put your mind at ease. Don't be up here getting mad and upset, damaging, throwing stuff, and all that stuff. It's childish. All right, let's continue.
I made sure, I followed him outside to make sure that he wasn't going to do anything to my car. We were talking. I went in his car, try to figure out, like, what is this chick? Who is this person? And he got upset and he pulled me out of his car. And when he pulled me, I grabbed onto a weather strip in his door.
And let me say this too, ladies, to the ladies. Why is you even following him out and didn't get in his car and all that stuff? That's going to cause an issue, a problem right there. And then it's the first time you see that he is getting mad and damaging stuff. That should have been a major that should have been a red flag for you. And you should have said something to him about that. And then if he said, okay, I'm sorry, I won't do it again. And then next time he does that again, then you need to, after that, I understand maybe if someone's doing something maybe once and you've forgiven them. But if they do it again, usually it's best to move on from that person. Especially if it's dealing with stuff damaging things. All right, let's continue.
And when he pulled me, he was still continuously hitting on me, had neighbors outside watching it. My son was outside watching everything. And the neighbors stopped it. I went into my home. The police knocked on the door. And he was like, ma'am, you have to come back outside to help him find his keys. I threw his keys on top of a tree.
Then
And let me say this. See, this is what happens a lot of times. Stuff like this ensues when, y'all, are, don't just, arguments. Everybody has arguments. But when this stuff ensues where you lay your hands on a woman or hit her, she throw bottles at you, then she take your keys, toss your keys, and then she's hitting you and you hitting her. When this gets to this point, it's time to go. It's time to move on. It's time to move on for the situation. When a man and woman gets to fighting, hitting each other, throwing stuff at each other, things like that, it's time to move on. All right. Anyway, let's continue.
you see the bruises?
My bruises?
Yes, ma'am.
My bruises, my face was swollen, but most of the bruises were on my arms.
Did you tell them when they say, "Come on out here and help him"? When they said help him, you say, "What do you mean help him? Don't you see my face?
I did
Don't you see these bruises?"
I did acknowledge to the police that he hit me, as well as the neighbors
You
told them
point to the swollen face.
I didn't point to the.
Sorry, let me hear some background from you.
Well, from the beginning of things when I first walked in, it was kind of crazy because when I walked in, she was kind of quiet. I questioned her as to what was wrong. From there, she said nothing. I instantly went to
What are you
sleep.
talking about? Walked in when?
When I walked into her home that night, the 31st of that night.
Oh, you want to start there? Okay.
I'm sorry. But because the reason I want to start this is because I want to say something was not true when she said that I was hitting her. When it started, everything happened. I was instantly going straight to the bed. And when I went to the bed, she started mumbling through her door because I closed her door because the son was sleeping in there. So from there, she started saying little smart things. When I walked in, she was sleeping, apparently, from the way it looked. As I started to go to sleep, I just know 30 minutes later, I heard her just ranting, "Go back to that girl's house you were at. Go back to where you was at. Go be with that you was with." So from there,
let me say this too. If you're living with a woman or staying with a woman and she comes out of her mouth, go back to where you came from, go back, don't be like, should be like, okay, fine, be like, okay, fine, no problem. Pack your stuff, take your stuff, and leave, and don't come back. She wants you to come back, Because like I say, the way I am, if I was dealing with someone or living with someone, and the first time they tell me, hey, I want you to leave, you gotta go, I'm gonna be like, no problem. I'm gonna grab my stuff and I'm gone. And then more likely, 9 times out of 10, I probably won't be back. Maybe to visit, but I won't be back, living there anymore. Because once a person puts you out, If you want to go back, that's on you. But if a person puts you out once, more likely it's a likely chance they're going to put you out again. So if a person tells you to leave, don't argue and fuss with them. Ask them why. If they want you to go, just pack your stuff and go. All right, let's continue.
Initially said, like, do you really need me here? Because I'm not going to go through this with you. From there, as I was putting on my pants, she threw a Hennessy bottle at the back of my head. And that's when immediately I'm trying to get out the house. Her house, the door is right next to the refrigerator. She's pretty much blocking me. And I'm trying not to get hit with anything else. She has a knife kit. Trying not to get stabbed.
Ladies, look, if your person's trying to, look, let me say this for both ladies and men. If you're a person in your house and they ain't trying to leave, don't try to block them or stop them from leaving. If they want to leave, let them go. If you tell them to leave and they're trying to leave, don't block them or hinder them from leaving, let them go. Same for you too, gentlemen. If you with a woman or whatever, if she wants to leave or whatever, don't try to block her, hinder her, or hold her, or stop her from going. When she wants to leave, let her go. Anyway, let us continue.
So from there, I instantly go outside to my car. Is when things escalated more. I called 911 several times with my phone. And from there, the reason the police weren't on her side is because I was the one who was battered and beaten, the one who was beaten the most. So.
But he hit me first.
Was anyone arrested?
No, the reason they didn't arrest her is because she had her son, and I know she doesn't have anyone to be with her. So they was like, if you were to have her arrested, they would take her son, and you would have to go into custody as well. I had to go to work soon, so I didn't want to have to go through.
And let me say this. See, that's why I tell people, not only ladies, but you met gentlemen as well. See, that's why I say you don't want to get involved with hitting someone, her putting her hands on you, you putting your hands on him. And like I say, because more likely when you do that, especially out in the neighborhood, police come, there's a likely chance both of you can end up getting arrested. She could end up getting arrested. He could end up getting arrested as well. And like I say, then you got to go through a bunch of legal issues, legal problems, then going to court, and paying lawyers, fees, and all that stuff. That's why I say try to, control yourself, trying to get involved, with things like this. When it comes down to it where y'all are fighting each other or putting hands on one another or one person's putting their hands on the other, it's time to move on. Because see, that's how people end up in jail, and even if people end up even getting severely hurt and even getting killed in some cases like this. All right, let's continue.
Yeah.
All right, so you both work?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. Anybody finish school or beyond high school or trade or community college?
Just high school.
I did community college.
Got a permanent skill?
I'm into culinary.
Have some type of certificate in that area?
Not yet. I had to take a break.
Why didn't you go beyond high school, sir? You might lose this little job you have, and then what you gonna do?
Well, the reason I didn't continue school is because things are kind of expensive.
Well, let me say this, and like I said, I agree with what the judge has mentioned on there, that if you did it, if you're involved, if you're working, and there's nothing wrong with working, we all should work, but also, like you say, if you're young and you can't afford to go to college, maybe try to take up a trade, because it's always job in the trade skills that, that's always going to be needed. Even working on cars, becoming a mechanic, or even getting into plumbing, even electrician, even being a carpenter. All those things, skills that, people are always going to need, because you're always going to need those things. You're always going to need mechanics, because you're always going to have cars. You're always going to need carpenters and stuff, because you're always going to have apartment houses and buildings. You also need electricians, because everything, of course, is electric, bricklayering, things like that. So if you can't afford it, especially gentlemen, if you can't afford to go to college, maybe consider, taking up some type of trade or something. Suggest it. All right, let's continue.
Man, I prefer to actually work, to jump into a career.
What career you in?
Well, I'm not in a career yet, but
okay.
I'm trying to get
All right.
engineering.
I just advise both of you to get some type of certificate or degree. But let's get to the loan. What's the loan for? Or move back to grandma. One dollar.
Okay, well, the first loan that Cameron had was a PLS loan. Cameron was pulled over in Chicago for having weed in his car. The police took it. Because of the altercation.
All right, let me say this too. Just a side note, real quick. Ladies too, gentlemen. I advise people not to smoke. Well, if you're going to be smoking weed, you need not to be driving around with weed in your car. Because, like I said, you can get pulled over with weed in your car in some places, some states, and stuff. You know, you can get arrested for that. Anyway, let's continue.
That him and I had, he stated that he wasn't going to pay on the loan anymore.
That's a payday loan?
A payday loan, yes, to get his car out of the impound. We had 2 more payments lasted, and he stated that he wasn't going to pay that.
That's the balance is $704?
No, that balance is $334.
For the payday loan. What are the other for?
The other loans is for an iPad that I purchased in May of 2014. The agreement was Cameron was going to pay that on a monthly basis. Cameron never did that. I paid on the iPad for a year. That came up to $270.
What else?
Cameron had my car for a week because his car was damaged. He got a red light ticket in my name. I approached him about it. He said, no, I'm going to pay it. I'm just having money problems right now. I kept on receiving notices saying, I have to pay it.
How much finally?
It was $100.
So you got tricked all the way around.
Yeah.
All right. Let me hear from you, sir. You want to respond to the loans that she referred to?
Well, yeah, she is correct about the loan. I did have 1 payment left to pay on it, but with that random incident happening with her going crazy and damaging my vehicle, I felt as if I didn't have to pay that anymore.
Let me say this too. When you borrow money from somebody or whatever, if you owe them, pay them back. In good faith, try to, pay them back. All right, because God will bless you for that, but because you had an incident, you got mad with somebody, but if you owe somebody money, then, you pay them back. So that way you don't, and then you just move on your way. That way you don't end up in court getting sued and going through situations, stuff like this. All right, let's continue.
Well, because now I have something on my car that I have to get fixed, and I have to get my iPad fixed as well, which equals way more than what that loan was. So I did fall back on the loan. I did sell her.
How about the tickets?
The tickets, I feel as if that's not my fault, because how do you know if I'm the one who got that red light ticket?
I have a statement from his supervisor, as well as I have the time
That's it.
when the incident occurred.
She said that's how she knows.
They're called bionic boomers. Seniors once riddled with debilitating arthritis pain. Given.
All right, your counterclaim. Your counterclaim for car damages and the iPad. How does she owe you?
Well, as she was going on the rampage with trying to fight me the night on the 31st, August 31st, she grabbed my barbecue grill that I had outside and threw it at my car, and she put a dent in the fender, which cost a little amount to get fixed.
Now, let's start there. His car.
In regards to a barbecue grill, I'm little. How can I get a barbecue grill and throw it on a car?
Yes, you can't throw a little barbecue grill on a car. Stop it. Because they got small little mini grills, barbecue grills that a child could even pick up, could easily pick up. So, yeah, they do have small grills. Now, if it was a big grill or something like that, I can understand you can't pick up a big grill. But they do have little portable grills, little mini grills now that even a little child, like I say, a child could pick up. So, yeah. Yes, it's possible that you can pick up a little small grill and throw it at his car. And like I say, gentlemen, when the situations and stuff escalate to this point with a woman, it's time to let her go. And the same thing for you ladies, when you got to go through all this drama, throwing grills, throwing bottles and all that stuff, then obviously it's time for you to let that man go. All right, let's continue.
It's this big.
That dent in his car was already on his car, and that's also in that letter that his supervisor has as a witness. I never did anything to that car but rip off the weather shield.
All right, he denies even having anything to do with.
And let me say this too, real quick. Let's this case go on here. They're about to wrap up here shortly. That when it comes to situations like this, usually this is what happens a lot of times, y'all. usually end up in court behind situations like this. You involve a woman, stuff get damaged or things like this, then a lot of times women will keep receipts, text messages, and everything like that, to take you to court and sue you if things don't work out. And that's what a lot of these court cases end up coming about. You getting in a relationship, things don't go right or things go left, as they say, then you end up going to court or have to go to court and possibly getting sued or stuff behind situations, circumstances like this. All right, anyway, let's wrap this up here.
With the ticket, how do you know this? How do you know that? On your text, this is what you say about the ticket when she asked me about it. You got 2 letters about the ticket. That's the thing. I was telling you last week that my check is already gone. And I ain't got no place to stay. That's why I had to move in with you and your son, because I ain't got no money. And then you say, thing is, nothing's going to happen at all. But papers are coming to your crib. That's it. You're going to get the papers. That's it. That's what he telling you. He admitted he owed the ticket, but he said you gonna get the papers. There ain't nothing gonna happen. I don't have no more money. I'm broke. I was broke. That's why I moved in with you and your son. Thank you. You're a good little sucker. I really suckered you. All right. Sir, I'm going to dismiss your claim. I see the evidence that you agree and grant yours. I hope you learned a lesson not to let a man move in with you and your son without knowing him a significant amount of time and somebody who's prepared.
Hey, did y'all hear that? Did you hear that, ladies? Did you hear that? Even the judge iterated what I said. Don't let no man move in with you unless you know him, thus you know them for a specific amount of time. And hopefully this is a good lesson for him too. All right, let's wrap this up here.
Yeah, to be a partner, he isn't prepared. You see, he doesn't even have any qualifications. He has some little job that doesn't even require any skill. Judgment for the plaintiff. Have a good day.
I wish him happiness, and maybe in the future we can be friends again.
No thing, nothing at all.
Well, anyway, that's it on that. And like I said, even though she's talking about let's be friends again, nope. I hope he will be smart enough to move on, let her go, and hopefully she will let him go too, and all that stuff. Because me personally, once you go through a situation, circumstance like this, y'all take each other to court. She take you to court. You take her to court. And then talk about, maybe after this we could be friends. No friends. I'm done. You go your way, I go my way. You have a nice life. Anyway, that's it. Take care. God bless. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. Take care. God bless you all. Peace.